Good morning. My name is Hector Ramos. I am extraordinary minister of the Holy Communion here in the parish. I am married. I work as a lawyer for the government, defending individuals that have been charged with crimes, but that they don't have the resources to hire a private attorney. My wife is unemployed right now, but she also works here at the parish as a catechist, and I've been helping in any way that I can here in the parish for the last approximately 10 years. Good morning, my name is Hector Ramos. I am an extraordinary minister of the Holy Communion here at the parish. I work as a lawyer, that's my profession, and I am married to Dania Marie Diaz Maldonado. She also participates here in the parish. She's a catechist. We've been married for 7 years now, and we've been participating and contributing here at the parish for approximately the past 10 years. We came in here almost as an accident, because we don't live here. We're not from the community, but somebody invited us to mass here at the parish, and we immediately fell in love with with the spirit of the and the environment and the it's almost hard to explain. Something happened to us that from that day on we decided to continue to come here, and we haven't stopped ever since. The people, the community is a community that it's impoverished, and it's but it's comprised of really humble people, people that are really down to earth, people that are they may struggle financially, but they are more giving than anybody that I know, the people in this community. And when I say the people, I'm including not only the residents of this community, but also the people that form part of the parish, and the oratorium, and the priest, everybody that collaborates here, and but also every component of the mass, the services, everything, the music. The music was so important, was so instrumental, and we just fell in love with the music, and how it was a different type of mass. We've been going to mass for pretty much all our lives. We were raised Catholic, but there was something different about this place, and so as we continue to come to mass, at the beginning it was only to hear mass, and but we felt the calling of trying to help, and so we basically said, how can we help? And we started getting involved in different ministries and different apostolates, and we've been doing that for a while now. No, it was the first time actually knowing the Salesian priests and congregation.
What was different? What kind of, that was this first experience, do you remember when you met them? What kind of people?
They were really accessible to people, which is something that in other churches and other congregations, doesn't usually happen that way. You see the priest over there, far away, and the people down here, and usually they don't mix together. But I saw all the priests and everybody basically mingled together, and they were very accessible, very welcoming, very the kids, I mean, with children and youngsters, and the fact that they involve them so much in everything that happens here. Whereas in other places, children and young people are seeing kind of like as an inconvenience, because they may be loud or they may interrupt the mass or the services. Here, they are part of the community. They are part of everything that happens here, and also the way that the Salesians are with everybody. I mean, if they see somebody that they haven't seen before, they go to that person and they want to find out more about that person, what brings them here, and they want to make them part of what's happening. Like I said, they're very welcoming, and I think that was part of what struck us as something that was different and wonderful at the same time about the Salesians. You're right. Since I'm not from here, I don't have the inner knowledge of all the details of what goes on, but I do see from outside, and being from outside, I do see, because I have to go to the community, I have to go to visit the elderly, I have to go to visit the sick. So I walk the streets of the community and I see the people that come here seeking help. And I can tell you that this community, unfortunately, politically and in terms of government, it's a community that has sort of been forgotten. So they may be remembered when election time comes around, and so the politicians come here and they want to make the people forget that for the past 4 years they haven't really stepped foot here and haven't helped them, and so I see that, and then obviously the frustration that goes with that, and I think that sort of transcends to the parish to a certain extent, because in as much as the community is marginalized, and since the parish is geographically within the community, I think that it impacts the parish a little bit and the congregation. What I see, however, is that then it becomes more important for the parish and from the congregation to step forward, and then it's going to be impossible to do it, but at least try to fill that void that the state, the government is not fulfilling. And so I do see this parish and the congregation as sort of taking the role of assisting the community where the government is not doing it, and that's admirable. I'm really proud to say that that's happening, and that a little bit I am a part of that. Well, I do not necessarily work as a lawyer here in this community. Sometimes we get cases from here in my office, but I mean my work as a lawyer is separate from what I do here at the parish. What I do here more is in the religious context, in my role as a minister of the Eucharist and visiting the community and the people that live here. So I can't really speak about the legal perspective, although people knowing that I'm a lawyer, they will ask for advice, but I try to keep those roles separate as much as I can, because I may have to deal with some cases that come from here in my work. What I try to do, however, is from the faith-based standpoint, see what the struggles are, try to identify how we can help, and then come back to the church, to the parish, with the feedback of what we're seeing out there and what the needs are, and then try to see if we can somehow if we have the resources or the resources, financial or human, to try to alleviate some of the problems that we're seeing in terms of, for example, after the storm, we've seen a lot of financial hardship and people without supplies. So to the extent that we're able to, we've been trying to identify those people that need help, and with the resources of the parish, we've been helping the people in the community, and also in terms of, you know, the sacraments, you know, making sure that the sick and the elderly receive the communion, that they are visited by the priests when they need to, and that they at least once a week receive hear the scriptures. And so I think I've been focusing more on that than in my role as an attorney. I just happen to be an attorney, but that's not what I'm doing here in the community. I see it as an incredible privilege, first of all, being able to do that. It's just, I would never imagine that in my life I would have the opportunity, but also the responsibility of basically taking Jesus Christ with me, having the responsibility of safeguarding the body of Christ with me, and then take them to somebody that needs it, that will use it to heal both spiritually and physically. And it's been an amazing experience. I thank God every day for having allowed me or chosen me, because somebody from the parish approached me, but I do believe that it was God who chose me for that. This sinner, because I don't deserve it, but for some reason I'm here doing it, and it is an honor, a privilege. It's something that permeates my life. I come to Mass every day before I go to work, because it is what basically creates that balance that I need to deal with everyday life struggles and problems, and it is what keeps me also grounded, and it permeates everything. It permeates my marriage, the way that we see life, the way that we see our interactions with our neighbors and with other people. So I try to keep that in mind, and it is just an amazing miracle that I've been allowed this opportunity. I think it's everything. It's the first thing that we should think about when we get up in the morning, and it's the last thing that we should think about when we go to bed. How He never leaves us alone, even in the most difficult times. He's always there with us. Sometimes we can't see it, or we don't realize it, because sometimes we, as humans and as people that our faith gets a little bit shaken. We forget that He's always there with us, and so my relationship with Jesus is one of, please guide me, please, and let me also thank you for everything that I have, everything that you've given me, because I have more than I need, first of all, and I have more than I deserve, and so and the reason that I have all the blessings that I have is because He's given me those, so I always ask Him to guide me through a path that basically goes to the Father. And so so my relationship with Jesus is to try to see in everybody else that I see, also see His face, and also so that I can know that if I'm dealing with somebody else, I'm dealing with Jesus, so that I can behave myself in a way that takes that relationship seriously and that responsibility seriously.
Those days
Yeah, oh, we never stopped. I mean, on the hurricane was on a Wednesday, and on Sunday we were here and we went out, and we were able to find some of the elderly people had been moved because I mean the houses that they were living in were either destroyed or were not in good shape to withstand the hurricane, so they were moved to different places. So it took us a while to find where everybody was. But first of all, it was super sad. It was really sad to see how the community was after. Although we have seen it, I mean, because I don't think there was a place in Puerto Rico that fared well. You know, it was a lot of destruction. But since this is a poor neighborhood, you see that the structures were not very strong. So a lot of houses without roof, a lot of houses destroyed. There was a lot of devastation. So it was an adventure to try to, walk the streets and try to reach the different places. And so, but once we were there, we were able to find all of the people that we were servicing, and then sit down and talk to them about what were they needing. At the beginning, everybody was in need of pretty much what everybody else needed, electricity, water, food, things like that. And so we took note of that, and so, but it was a constant of the same things. Some people needed medical services or some form of health services, and so that was a little bit more difficult for us because we can't really. I mean, we don't have the resources to provide for that. But I saw, at least personally, I saw a lot of need for food, water, and other types of supplies for people to be able to basically survive until help arrived. And help did arrive, but I don't think it was ever enough. So people basically had to find the help in other places than from the people that they were supposed to get the help from.
But in those days also, did you distribute the communion?
Yes, we did.
How it goes? Tell us about this.
Well, because the main function of us going to the houses of the people that we visited was to take the communion and to do the service, and so that was the main purpose. And then as a side, yeah, we distributed the communion, and that was our main purpose, our main goal, to reach them so that we could take the communion to them. But also as a side job, if you like, we were also trying to find out what were they needing and what did they require in terms of help based on what had happened after the hurricane. But we went. Our role was to go there and take the communion to them.
How people react, especially those old, sick people, how they react when after all this disaster you came with Jesus to them?
They were, I think even though we go there every week, the weeks after the hurricane became more important to them because they needed to hold on to something more strongly now than before. They needed. It meant hope for them. It meant a relief from everything that they were going through. So I remember some of the elderly and the sick that we visited. They didn't even expect us. They figured it's going to be several weeks before we get communion again. But since we were there, they were surprised, but at the same time happy that that never stopped, that was never interrupted for them. So I think it was the first sign for them of hope, of recovery, of hope of things moving forward and maybe getting better after that. I think since almost more than 2 months have elapsed, things have gotten normalized to a certain extent. So I don't think there is now a need for. I don't think that there's people out there in the community going without food or without water. I think that part, that the survival part, has gotten normalized to a certain extent. The problem is electricity. Without electricity, a lot of people are struggling, especially if they are ill and they require medication that needs to be refrigerated, or they depend on machinery that works with electricity. So finding a source of power is it's an everyday struggle, and there's a lot of generators out there, but generators require gasoline, and if you're sick or elderly, you don't have necessarily the means to go either buy a generator or buy the fuel, the gas, the gasoline that you need for the generator. So for as long as there is no electricity in the community, I think that's probably the main need that we're seeing out there. Imagine being bedridden and not having electricity for even a fan to cool you down. And I mean, it's almost December in Puerto Rico, and you know how hot it is. I'm sweating right now. So that's a difficulty. I think running water is not an issue here anymore, but it may have been at some point. So that is yet another thing that hopefully, luckily, has been normalized, but it was an issue at some point. So again, if you're elderly and you depend on somebody else to care for you, not having running water, you can imagine it's a problem. I think the main thing was making the church, the grounds of the church and the school, the main place for people to be able to get help that was coming from either the government or from non-profit organizations, charitable organizations, because this is sort of like people see it as the headquarters or as the center of the community, where if help was coming in the form of, say, water or ice or food, it can be centralized here, and then it can be distributed, and people can come here and get it, or from here it can go to the community. So I think that was an important role of the Salesians, basically opening the doors of the church and the parish for that to be centralized in one place and then distributed to the community. But also, I know, because I participated in that, a lot of help was being sent here from different benefactors that Father Nicolas has, and you know, we were getting boxes of water and canned food and supplies, and so it was receiving them here and then trying to distribute it to the community, to those places that we had already identified, and those houses and people that we had already identified. That was a big part of it. And then lastly, but I don't think less important, the spiritual part of it. Having a place where people can go feel safe, hopeful. Yeah. Yeah. Lastly, but not less important, the spiritual part. Having an oasis, having a place where people could come together. First of all, see that each other was safe, you know, because before the hurricane, everybody went their way to try to keep their properties safe, and then after that, meeting here and, you know, making sure that everybody was safe was important, but also finding in this place a place to feel hopeful that things are going to get better, and then, you know, continue to feel part of something that perhaps emotionally or psychologically was not there anymore. But I mean, this gave people at least a glance of normalcy that, because basically, thank God the church didn't suffer any damage. So I mean, when we came here on the Sunday after the hurricane, it was as business as usual. You know, nothing had changed. We were able to have the mass, and everything was the same. So I think people feel that since that didn't get disrupted, it's something to look forward to, even when after they leave here they have to go back to the daily struggles of this whole situation and the aftermath of the hurricanes. So, and I think the Salesians and the priests and everybody did a good job in making sure that the focus of the liturgy is sending that message of hope and keeping the faith, and I think that helped. I know it has helped me. So I think it's at the beginning I could see a lot of people crying and sad faces, especially people that had lost a lot or even a little bit, but you could see, and even the generalized sadness of what's going on. I think now it's joyful. We're starting our Christmas time. We start Christmas really early in Puerto Rico. After Thanksgiving, pretty much. I mean, even after October 31st, it's pretty much a Christmas season in Puerto Rico. So you can see that people are the mood of people. It's changing to more hopeful, more joyful, more at peace with what's going on. It's a sentiment of I don't want to say resignation, but it is what we're dealing with, and so I think people are getting used to it, and at the same time feeling at peace with what's happening. And since people are starting to feel that things are going to get better, then there's no need to continue to wallow. And so let's just feel happy. So if you see, if you and it has been like this at least for, I would say, three or 4 weeks. You can see that the mood has changed to happy and to hopeful, and everything it's getting better. So that means that soon it will be all better. So
thank you very much.